You know, the highest leverage unlock that I've made in business so far is realizing that nothing fucking matters. I don't matter. You don't matter. What our friends and family think doesn't matter. Nothing actually really matters. And earlier today, I was working on some funnel, it kept spazzing out, and I was stuck in the here and now, stuck in my own thoughts and emotions. It felt like everything in the moment. What the hell is this guy doing? Whatever it may be. And then I take the cosmic perspective. I just zoom out for a second. And it's nothing. It felt like everything, but it's actually nothing. And so the cosmic perspective is just universally, cosmically zooming out for a second. And just realizing how irrelevant, how kind of impermanent everything really is, and how it just really doesn't matter at all in relation to the size, the scope, and the nature of the universe. And once you truly sort of understand that we are just on, I guess, like a grain of sand floating in endless darkness, you know, like a flicker of light, probably in endless darkness. I mean, who knows who else is out there, but whatever, that's a topic for another day. But look, the reality is, I mean, it doesn't matter where you are. Shout out to, let's say, Namibia, Denmark, and Chile. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are on this rock. I mean, it's all just kind of floating in the middle of nothing. And the reality is the universe will at one point die of heat death. I mean, the earth will be gone. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't really care. I just know it will be gone. And everything will be gone. Everything that you know, everything you can see, everything you love, everything you hate, all your desires, your fears, it's gone. The universe forgets you as easily as it forgets everything. There is no permanent record. There is no real right or wrong. There is no real success or failure. It's simply the perception that you add on to it. And so if we can take this perspective, we can take massive unlocks into business, into getting anything you want in life. But I'll specifically stick to business because it's it's a commitment, it's a goal in life that demands a lot more from people than maybe some other stuff. But so one massive unlock is being able to lift yourself out of the here and now. To effectively achieve something, you need to make on-the-fly clear decisions. To make clear decisions, you need awareness, you need perspective over the whole scenario. Now, the issue is in business, is a lot of people get stuck in the here and now. You can't get perspective on what you're looking at. You look up at the mountain and there's fog. You can't see the end goal. So you're only literally looking at the steps in front of you. There's a fog of emotion, thoughts, whatever it may be, you're just stuck in the here and now. And ultimately, you've got to understand that if you want to make clear decision making, which is the difference between whether you succeed or fail, it's the decisions you actually make. You're only a series of decisions away from what you want. So if we can make the clear, correct decisions that are rational, not stuck in your negative emotions, whatever it is, fear, stress, anxiety, anger, it's clouding your judgment. Take the cosmic perspective, whatever's angering you, whatever you're scared of, and just realize how irrelevant it is, how impermanent it is, how the fear of whatever, judgment, exposure, failure, success, or whatever you're negatively reacting to, and it's stuck in the here and now and you can't gain any sort of awareness or perspective on the situation. Just realize how impermanent it is, realize how irrelevant it is, realize how there is no scoreboard, there is no, you know what I'm saying? Like if you can just zoom out a second and realize, hang on, we're on a grain of sand floating in the middle of nowhere. No one really knows why we're here. You know, if you really think about that, no one can answer why we're actually here. Why are you here? You can't answer that question really. Like with proper, like objectively, you can't answer that question. You don't really know the meaning of all of this. And once you figure out that we're on a floating grain of sand in the middle of nowhere, everyone on this grain of sand doesn't really know what they're doing. That's a big unlock, a side unlock, let's just say. Realize that there's not really such thing as someone who knows what they're doing, has got their shit fully together, knows the answer to every question, because there are questions that no one can answer. And so once you realize that, what people think, what happens, everything is just kind of irrelevant, kind of impermanent. So you can take yourself out of that scenario. That's the first big unlock, awareness and perspective. The second big unlock is alleviating this thing, I guess a lot of people call it excess importance, where I make a differentiation. I think there's no problem with wanting a goal. In fact, you need strong desire to encourage strong action. You need full commitment to what you want in life. You need to fully commit to growing or scaling or whatever it may be. But there's a difference between want desire and need desire, and it's where the desire is grounded. The want desire is grounded in conviction, in confidence, in calm. It's not this sort of, you're not internally dependent or emotionally dependent on the outcome. You're good if it happens, and it's good if it doesn't happen as well. It doesn't really matter. It's not the end of the world. The stakes aren't that high. The pressure isn't that high. That's the place you want to operate, because you can think, and you're not in survival mode. You can embrace failure. You're not in analysis paralysis, because on the other side is need desire. Need desire is living in fight or flight. Need is when you're totally emotionally dependent, internally dependent on that outcome happening. And if that's the case, there's this total dependency. The stakes are too high. The pressure is too high. You're going to be in analysis paralysis. You're going to be overthinking everything. You're going to be avoiding failure. You're going to be anxious. You just can't think. You can't use your unseen forces, your unconscious mind. You can't use your intuition. It's all gone. And so when you take those two, a lot of you need the goal. A lot of you are too desperate. Because in need desire, desperation happens. You're acting out of desperation, and desperation creates separation from the goal. And that's what you need to understand. If you're acting from that area of desperation, you're not going to get the thing. You're just not. The pressure and the stakes are too high for you to perform optimally, right? So the cosmic perspective can come in and you realize, hang on, everything's kind of impermanent. Everything's kind of irrelevant. When you kind of realize that really the goal, yeah, it would be nice, but in the grand scheme of things, is it really that big of a deal? Is it really life-changing in the way that I think it might be? Or is that just kind of an illusion I'm playing up in my head? I mean, is it cosmically zooming out? You can just realize that life is kind of this game. Life is kind of this impermanent game that you just play. It's like it's something that will end eventually, and it will be kind of deleted and wiped. But while you're here, you can kind of do and choose what you want to, how you want to act, how you want to feel, how you want to think. And tying yourself up in stressing about the outcomes just become more irrelevant, because you realize how impermanent it is. And the moment you can just unlock it like a video game, you can just be this character, do whatever the fuck you want, but don't stress about anything too much, because it's not going to be here forever. What's the point, you know? And this isn't nihilism. And for those who don't know, nihilism is the kind of the perspective that nothing matters, but nothing matters, and therefore the life and existence has no value. That's not the conclusion I'm coming to. The conclusion is that nothing really matters in the grand scheme of things, but life has infinite value. Because if you think about it, value is determined by supply and demand. Life has limited supply. Life is finite, but it has infinite demand. Everyone would live longer if they could. And so from this perspective, life has infinite value, and it doesn't really matter. So now we can take it from this super fun video game that is super valuable, but it doesn't really matter. The stakes aren't that high, the pressure isn't that high. You know what I'm saying? So just take the cosmic perspective. You can operate from want, desire, you can operate out of calm, you can operate out of conviction, you can operate out of certainty. And you can take imperfect action. You're not stressing out about everything. You can take yourself out and give yourself awareness and perspective. And just from those two unlocks, you're just a more effective operator. You can just make better decisions. You can take more imperfect action. Your thoughts and feelings are aligned with that desired self. You're just so much more confident when you realize that all of this all of it. It's a fugazi. It's kind of irrelevant, but not in a nihilistic sense. I guess you can call it optimistic nihilism, but I say, look, take the cosmic perspective. If you find yourself sort of getting caught in your thoughts and feelings and reverting your progress and self-sabotaging, or you're stressing out too much, or you're too anxious, whatever the thing is, just zoom out for a second. It's not that big of a deal.